Pain is not proof, it's a loop. Pain is persuasive. It feels real, it feels immediate, and because it repeats, it feels like evidence. Most people assume that if pain keeps returning, it must be proving something. That something is wrong, that something is damaged, that something hasn't healed. But persistence is not proof. Pain does not repeat because it is correct. Pain repeats because it has become familiar. Pain is not a verdict. It is a loop. Your nervous system does not operate on truth. It operates on prediction. It continuously forecasts what it expects to happen next and prepares your body in advance. When pain has occurred before, the system learns that pattern, not as a mistake, as a strategy. It begins to anticipate pain and prepares for it preemptively. Muscle tone adjusts, breath changes, posture reorganizes, attention narrows. The body does not wait to be hurt again. It prepares not to be surprised. This is how a loop forms. Pain leads to protection. Protection alters structure. Altered structure feeds the prediction. The prediction generates pain. Round and round. Not because the tissue is failing, not because the body is broken, but because the nervous system is doing what it has always done best, reducing uncertainty. This is why rest alone doesn't resolve chronic pain. You can stop moving, but the prediction remains active. You can stretch, strengthen, massage, mobilize. But if the forecast does not change, the system returns to the same output. The body is not stubborn. It is consistent. Most approaches to pain try to argue with the loop. They treat pain as evidence to be disproven or a signal to be silenced. But loops do not dissolve through suppression. They dissolve through new information. The nervous system does not update itself because it has been told to relax. It updates itself when the data it receives no longer supports the old prediction. Pain persists when the body cannot verify safety. Not philosophically, physiologically. When movement is restricted, when tissue cannot glide, when orientation is unclear, the nervous system has no reason to assume the threat has passed. So it keeps the loop running, not as punishment, as precaution. This is the distinction most people miss. Pain is not proof of injury. It is proof of expectation. It is the echo of a forecast that has not yet been updated. When adaptive bodywork changes structure, it is not chasing symptoms. It is altering the conditions that keep the loop intact. When fascia regains elasticity, when layers begin to slide again, when posture reorganizes without effort, the nervous system receives new data. Not reassurance, evidence. And evidence changes prediction. When the prediction changes, the loop collapses. Not because the body was fixed, but because the loop no longer makes sense. The pain had a reason to exist. Now it doesn't. This is why relief can feel sudden. Not dramatic, not emotional, quiet. People often say, I don't know what changed. I just don't feel the need to protect anymore. That is not coincidence. That is a loop resolving. Pain is not proof. It never was. It is a loop that learned to protect you and stayed active longer than it needed to. Loops can be rewritten, but only when the body is shown, not told, that the future will be different from the past. That is the work. Not fighting pain, not chasing relief, updating the prediction that keeps the loop alive. If this reframes how you understand your body, begin where the loop actually changes. Start with the AB1 series, the structured entry point designed to give your nervous system clear physical evidence that the story it's been repeating is no longer necessary. Pain is not proof, it's a loop. And loops can end.